Good morning, friends. Ready to read and listen to chapter 32 in our story? So, they have just safely, or not so safely in Jack's case, got off the magic beanstalk on Malevolent's castle in the sky and were confronted by some goblins. So let's find out how they get out of this mess. Jack slowly opened his eyes to find himself in a strangely familiar place. Behind him, the leaves of the large oak tree filled the sky, while golden grasses waved in the gentle wind at his feet. For the life of him, though, he couldn't remember what this place was or how he gotten here. The last Jack remembered, the goblin guards had swarmed over them from every side. One had lifted its sword and brought it down. Oh, right, brought it down straight onto Jack's head. Jack felt around the back of his skull, then winced as he found the spot the goblin had hit. It didn't hurt exactly. It was more like a memory of pain. Well, at least that explained why he had his eyes closed. The creature had knocked him unconscious. But hadn't it been nighttime before? Here, the sun burned high in the sky, causing the grasses to glow a calming green. How exactly had he gotten from Malevolent's castle to this field? And why was it so hard to think clearly? I see you've returned, said a man in a blue cloak on Jack's right. As Jack turned, the memory of his last dreamlike encounter with the man flooded into his foggy consciousness. Unfortunately, just as it had the last time, the situation seemed much too surreal to take very seriously. That's right, Jack responded, finding himself oddly happy despite a nagging feeling that something was deeply, deeply wrong. The knight leaned over and looked closely at Jack, as if the man were peering right into him. Your training progresses slowly, he said. I assume there is no cause for worry? Worry? Jack asked, confused. Training? You haven't been making use of your sword as you should have, Jack, the knight said, with a touch of disappointment. That sword is a powerful tool. It can help to awaken the world around you, if you let it. The sword? Jack furrowed his brow. But the sword, it's... He struggled with what he wanted to say, but in the end just gave up and went for the obvious. It's bad. The knight laughed. It certainly has the possibility for evil, I'll grant you that. And most of the eyes did use their weapons for horrible deeds. But the sword can be used for great good in the hands of the right person. He glanced momentarily at Jack. I do hope I haven't chose wrongly. Still, you must be careful. There are those in the world who would turn you from your path. My path? Jack asked. Why was it so hard for him to think here? The knight nodded. You walk a dangerous road, my young friend. Few have the courage to walk it, and all before you have failed, including myself. You are our last chance. Chance? Jack asked. It's hard to think. You will get used to it as time passes, the knight said. This is a realm of great potential, yet you haven't reached the point where you might take advantage of it. For now it provides a convenient place for us to meet. Soon it shall be more, when you are ready. Jack didn't even bother asking about any of that, instead going back to the previous question. What is my path? The knight raised an eyebrow, then leaned in close. Why, just what you believe it to be. You are on a quest to save Snow White, aren't you not? Jack nodded slowly. The knight smiled. I cannot think of a more important one, he said. Abruptly, his smile vanished. However, you must heed this word of warning. Before the knight could finish, a sharp pain struck Jack in the spot where the goblin had hit him. He hissed in pain, then looked at the knight. I think I might be waking up now. The knight looked concerned. Oh, you are waking up, he said, yet not nearly fast enough. And the wicked queen knows you, Jack. She is always known, and she awaits your arrival. However, she doesn't yet realize that I have found you first. And you must keep that from her, Jack, above all else. If she learns that I am training you, all will be lost. There would be nowhere you could run, nowhere you could hide from that woman. And with that, the knight sat back against the tree. As Jack tried to fight through the fog in his head to ask anything about what the knight had just said, the grass and sunlight began to swirl around in front of his eyes. Faster and faster they whirled until the bright colors drained away, leaving just the dark unknown of his unconsciousness, tainted by a throbbing pain at the back of his head. That is the end of chapter 32. So now we know that they were attacked by the goblins, so we'll have to see what happens in chapter 33 when Jack wakes up. Have a good weekend, friends.